Once upon a time in a classroom, there were some girls listening to their teacher, who was super mad. The teacher started calling out some students by their names and made them line up in front of the class like they were in trouble. Then the teacher asked a question to a girl, but she got some help from her good friend named Bobby. Unfortunately, the girl got busted later on. But when it got dark outside, there was a lot of noise and excitement. There were tons of bikes as boys and girls had a wild time. Bobby's family was there, including her sister. Plus, there was this handsome and daring guy named Hugo Oliveira, who was so cool and famous all around town. Hugo competed with other guys in a pull-up contest, and he won. This made Hugo's buddies really happy. Meanwhile, Bobby was having some fun with her friends, and they all got into a groove and started dancing. Meet Bobby, a girl who loves parties and fun, and Hugo, her buddy, who likes to entertain everyone. One day, Bobby received an invite to rich people's party, which made her heart light. They all dressed up and joined the bash, where one guy noticed Bobby's class. He called her beautiful and tried to impress, but Bobby was just not impressed. Meanwhile, Hugo saw what's going on. He smiled and decided to tag along. Suddenly, one guy started to steal. Hugo was quick to spot and feel. A girl then caught the thief red-handed, but he thought it's okay and she'd be candid. He asked her out, but she got mad, walked away from him, which made him sad. Hugo reached out and saw the commotion. He tried to handle the situation like a potion. But before he could say anything, the gang started. They ruined the party and departed. So, moral of the story, don't be a thief, and don't ruin parties, it's just uncalled relief. Bobby was minding her own business, when suddenly a guy he apologized for calling her a witch. But the guy continued and she threw her drink at which made her but pushing the guy and breaking a table quite large. He picked Bobby up onto his shoulders and marched out of the party like Big Boulder. But not before, he threw her into the pool, making her dress revealing, which wasn't cool. Meanwhile, his friends were fighting off the guys, trying to save the party from a certain demise. But the cops were called and they had to flee, yet not before. Hugo promised to bathe with Bobby, with glee. As Bobby and the guy were leaving in their ride, he reveals it was all a setup, his plan not to hide. He wanted to get to know Bobby better, you see. But something tells us she might not agree. So, or else we might end up in a similar distress. The guy thought he was being clever, trying to impress Bobby would be a piece of lever. But his trick didn't work. Oh no, they all banded together and destroyed his auto. The guy lost his temper and hit one of the guys. Hugo saw this and saw the fire in his eyes. He taught him a combat lesson, while Bobby called for help without any hesitation. An old man tried to help with good intentions, but it didn't go too well, causing more tensions. The guy eventually left, running away, and Bobby was left with no choice but to save the day. She grabbed Hugo from behind to take her escape, leaving the guy and his car in a messed up state. Hugo teased her for a moment or two until she hitched a ride with a sketchy dude. Hugo showed him a way and finally gave her a ride until she reached home, where her mother did reside. So, or else you might end up in a quick fix. The sister reveals hero's true identity. Hugo wakes up and steals money, much to his siblings' solidarity. Bobby's friend calls out Hugo for stealing her cash, but he doesn't care, he just wants to have a bash. Expecting to be taken to a fancy place for lunch, Katina's annoyed. She leaves, giving Hugo a hard crunch. Hugo goes to dinner with his father, learns his mom's away. He reminisces in his old room, where memories do stay. Once a brilliant student, he changed his personality, moved in with his brother. Big change in reality. Bobby's upset she dumped someone yesterday, but as for Hugo, he'll enjoy life, come what may. Bobby ditched her date and left with a stranger. Her parents are angry, plus a guy's in danger. They want to report her last night's hookup. But her sister knows the truth and quickly shuts up. Bobby gets a call and goes to a local race, where Hugo teases her in his usual place. She tells her parents Hugo broke someone's nose. His friend is worried he'll end up in the court's throes. But Hugo's not worried. He's sure she'll save the day, for she'll be crazy for him in every way. They have a weird race and laugh it off, but something tells us they're not done, they might scoff. They had to put their girls on the back and race so fast it might cause a panic attack. Bobby chose an unknown bike with an unknown rider and they raced on and on, causing a bit of a spider. But then one of the girls got injured and the cops showed up. Everyone was captured. Bobby hid and waited for Hugo to come. He picked her up, but not before he gave her his jacket. Quite fun. He watched as she changed, hoping for a little kiss, but she said no and slapped him, causing him to hiss. Hugo's brother saw their picture in the news. He was worried and felt a bit of a bruise. So, the next day, Hugo sneaked into Bobby's room, put up a poster reminding her of their boom. And when she wakes up, she'll see their picture, so grand, and remember the time they truly man. Bobby saw Hugo's poster, it made her grin. She was falling for him, might even for him sin. She goes to a party and spots him there. His touch sends her thrills, she knows he cares. But when she gets home, her mother's furious. She'd been drinking, which made her delirious. He lost his mind, started beating him with no permission. He hit metal, raging with anger. This moment began Hugo's bad guy career. Bobby hugged him, tried to calm him down, and they had lots of romantic moments before leaving town. But then Hugo's side girl came to sow some trouble. They fought, with punches like a bubble. Hugo and his mates intervened once more, and he took Bobby away, promising no cheating more. Hugo took his girlfriend to a tattoo shop, and she was thrilled to get a tattoo. Later, Bobby's father came to Hugo's house, and he wanted to talk to Hugo about something. Hugo told him that everything was fine and he was just taking it easy. When his brother warned him that his actions could land him in jail, Hugo got a little too aggressive at school. The teacher warned him that his girlfriend could get expelled from the school because she signed the absent leave letter herself. Her mother paid a hefty fine of €8,000 to save her from being expelled. She told everything to Hugo, and he climbed into her room through the window. He took her to an empty pool at night, and they had a good time splashing around. Just remember, don't scratch your new tattoo, or you'll have to pay another fine. One day, Hugo went to Bobby's school and talked to the teacher, asking her to stop giving Bobby trouble in the future. Bobby's father agreed to help, and her mother was thrilled. Hugo took Bobby to an old house with a beautiful view, and they had a great time until the next morning. The following day, when Bobby and Hugo were enjoying each other's company, Hugo's friend and his friends crashed the party. Bobby got upset and threw everyone out, including Hugo. But Hugo did something incredible and wrote "I love you" on a building. He even learned how to cook just for Bobby. He called her up to show off his new skills. After her mom's ring went missing, things got heated. Hugo, being the tough guy he is, goes to his gang and starts a brawl with the leader until the girl coughs up the ring. Bobby's house becomes the scene of the handover, with Hugo leaving with the girl. A court appearance follows, and Bobby's mom gets the waterworks going. Hugo promises to change for her, and they all decide to throw a shindig for Bobby's 18th. However, things take a turn when the girl sees Pepita, whom Hugo had kidnapped earlier. She flees the scene, leaving everyone in shock. Bobby shows up at Hugo's place for a chat, but things go downhill, and Hugo slaps Bobby before she leaves. Meanwhile, Baby forgets about Hugo and deletes his number, leaving him in agony. Despite this, Katina shows up at Hugo's on Christmas and gifts him a photo of him and Paulo, leading to tears. She suggests forgetting Bobby, who has moved on, but Hugo still tries calling her from the same phone booth. Bobby's mom answers the phone, but Bobby doesn't get a chance to talk before they drive off, leaving Hugo outside crying his eyes out. Later on, Hugo tells his brother he's leaving for work, realizing that things can only happen once and you'll never feel 3 meters above the sky again. If you enjoyed this romantic movie recap, give us a like and show your support.